Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Coming up, a 49ers mailbag where I answer all of your 49ers related questions. But first, if I'm verified on Twitter, which I am because I'm a part of the blue checkmark brigade, is that a big deal? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Get those votes in the comment section down below. But in all seriousness, follow me and DM me at Chase_Senior. Hit me with a 49ers hot take. I love interacting with the Niner gang. Let's kick off this mailbag with this question coming in from Nicole and Harold Gillenwater. Do you think our pass rush could be as good as it was when we went to the Super Bowl, or do you think it could be better if we stay healthy all year long? I think it could be as good, if not better. You look at that starting defensive line across the board. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa, Javon Kinlaw, as well as DJ Jones. I mean, this starting defensive front is really, really stacked. And I like some of the depth pieces as well. I think this 49ers defense is going to be really, really good. And I think Samson Ebukam could be a guy who surprises a lot of people. And you also have to factor this in. You get D Ford back, helps bring this defensive line, which is already deep and very talented, to a whole nother level if he's able to get back to the semblance that he was playing at just a couple years ago when he was really one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Jacob, let's be real. We always get hurt, so who gets hurt first? I'm not going to put the bad jinx on the Niners. I'm hoping and praying that the Niners are able to stay upright and healthy, because if they are, I think they can win their first championship since going back to the heydays of the 1990s. Let's just hope that this team doesn't become as injured as they were last year, because if that happens, it could be a disaster. They were so much better than a 6-10 team a year ago. And I think this roster is stacked. But if some of those premier players start going down, it could really spell disaster. Wet Noodle 187, always in the chat. What do you think the final standings will be in the NFC West? I think the Niners are going to win 11 games if they can stay healthy. I think the Rams, honestly, could win 10 or 11 games as well. I think the Seahawks are there too. Wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals, who I thought were a surprise team last year, take another step forward in a very, very competitive division and float somewhere around 500, if not a little more than 500. This division is a gauntlet. I think it's coming down to the last week of the regular season, and I think it's the best in football. Jay Mannino, trade Raheem Mostert and a fourth-rounder for Xavien Howard. Raheem Mostert and a fourth-round pick, not going to get it done for who I think is the best cornerback in the league. Some think that Xavien Howard is behind Jalen Ramsey. Maybe a second, Raheem Mostert, and a fourth. I don't think the Dolphins really have that many questions at the running back position. I do think that trading a running back is in play for the Niners because they're so deep at that position. Could they trade away a guy like Raheem Mostert to get some good value back to start Trey Sermon? Maybe Jeff Wilson could be on the trading block, but he's on the physically unable to perform list. JaMycal Hasty, could he be traded? Wayne Gallman, if he doesn't make this roster, could he be a trade asset? Something to keep an eye on. PURP Daddy, maybe he's lighting up the California PURP. Who knows? Who's been the most impressive under-the-radar player in camp so far? Offensively, I'd really have to go with Trent Sherfield. Trent Sherfield has been contributing throughout his NFL career on special teams. With the Cardinals the past 3 years, he reeled in a combined 28 balls in addition to competing on special teams. So I think when you look ahead at the 53-man roster projection, Trent Sherfield could make it because so far he's making plays as a wide receiver. He gives you snaps on special teams. And with Trey Lance, they seem to have a pretty good connection so far. That's who Trey Lance was able to hit on that 50-yard dime piece back in training camp a couple days ago. Speaking of Trent Sherfield, do you think he's going to make the 53-man roster? Type M for he'll make it. Type W for he won't make it. Come on, Niner gang. Show out in the comment section down below and predict it for me. Dominic Cheffo, do you believe that Trey Lance could be the new Steve Young? I don't see a lot of comparisons between Trey Lance and Steve Young because I think physically he's a different type of guy. Also, he's a right-handed thrower compared to a left-handed thrower. And some people might say, oh, it's not that big of a difference. Marshall Green is one of the best flag football quarterbacks in the nation right now. Shake your head if there's a big difference between schematically what you have on offense, having a right-hander and a left-hander. Am I right? There's a big difference there because it kind of shifts wide receivers to different ends of the floor. In terms of the spin on the ball, that changes as well in terms of these wide receivers tracking balls. Also, where your left tackle is very, very important as to whether you have a left-handed quarterback or a right-hander. Do I think that Trey Lance has so much potential? Yes. Do I think that he can be a special player? Yes. Do I think he's going to win multiple Super Bowls and be a Hall of Famer like Steve Young? The jury's out. It's way too early. Thanks for the question, though. Mike Luna, appreciate this question. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is getting bogged by 49er fans and media of the 49ers? Because I do not see highlights on 49er websites from Jimmy. I see more Lance. That means that Jimmy is traded week 1. All right, trying to decipher what you asked there. I'm not sure what you mean by bogged. I like to stay up to date with all of the great pop culture and youth references, but am I getting old, showing my age? I'm not sure. Yeah, is he being overshadowed? Is he being doubted? I think is what you mean there. I don't think so. Like, Jimmy G has had a good training camp. He hasn't had a great training camp. He's not really displaying the arm talent that Trey Lance is. Plus, in terms of social media hype, who gets more? The number 3 pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, who's somewhat of an unknown prospect, or Jimmy G, who doesn't have the dynamic qualities of Trey, can't let it rip like Trey, and can't throw the deep ball like Trey. So I think people are just really excited about Trey Lance as a young player. Demand 365, with Lance playing well, will Jimmy G get traded? We're going to be continuing to tackle this question up until the start of the regular season. It's certainly in play for Jimmy G to get traded. There's no doubt about that, because I think there are going to be quarterback-needy teams, if there aren't some already. The trade destinations that kind of come to mind for me in terms of Jimmy G, I'm looking at teams like the Indianapolis Colts, of course, the Washington football team, the Denver Broncos, maybe the Miami Dolphins if Tua doesn't play well. The Houston Texans have to be on that list as well. So already a team like the Colts is quarterback needy. Could more teams become quarterback needy if quarterbacks go down? Possibly. And could Jimmy G get traded because of that? I do think it could happen if the Niners get good value back. Will Jimmy G start week 1? I think if he's on this roster week 1, definitely gives you some value, some good experience. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. Let me know if you think Jimmy G will start week 1 in the comment section. Be sure to give me a follow on Twitter and slide in my DMs at Chase_Senior. I just love talking Niner football with the Niner gang. And also, it's the same handle on both Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. So hit me up. Let's chop it up. If you have a question about the Niners going into the season, about free agency maybe, about training camp, let me know. Slide in my DMs. They are open. Let's move ahead in this mailbag with this question from Digital Devil. What's the Niners' biggest concern this season? Is it team health or strength of schedule or something else? I don't worry too much about the strength of schedule. I think it's team health. They've been one of the most off-injured teams in the NFL, really dating back to the Harbaugh days. So it's team health for me. Nicole and Harold Gillenwater again. Do you think we could ever get Buckner back? I don't. Unfortunately, it looks as though it was a bad trade because you haven't really gotten much back at all from D Ford. So I don't think you're going to get Buckner back. He's a stud, though. Gold Towel. Hopefully I said that right. If Jimmy is gone or doesn't produce, Trey plays and doesn't pan out, is Kyle gone? Hypothetical question. If Trey Lance doesn't work out, I think it puts so much pressure on Kyle Shanahan as well as John Lynch. There's a lot of pressure to make this pick work. And if it doesn't, that means that their quarterback evaluation was wrong. Everything that they've said about him is wrong. He's gotten a lot of hype because he's deserved that, and Trey Lance has earned that. If he doesn't pan out, though, yeah, it's certainly not a good look with their quarterback evaluation process. Harold Murillo, how good is corner B.W. Webb? So myself and producer Marshall Green were laughing about this before today's show. He's a former Giant. Marshall is a big Giants fan. Marsh, what do you think? He's not that good, right? I'm with you on that. B.W. Webb is a replacement level corner, and he really fights for a depth role, and he's a camp body. I don't think he makes the 53. Mom, I miss you. I miss my mom as well. Trey Lance and Patrick Mahomes, any comparisons? In terms of arm talent, there are some comparisons. Now, I hate throwing out these lofty comparisons because Trey Lance is a rookie. He's only been in a couple of padded practices so far. Patrick Mahomes has won a Super Bowl, as well as an NFL MVP. So, it's lofty praise to compare Trey Lance to Patrick Mahomes, but an NFL defensive coordinator, which we talked about here on the channel, did say that Trey Lance has Patrick Mahomes-like traits. So the arm talent is similar, the athleticism somewhat similar as well, although I think Trey Lance is a better athlete than Patrick Mahomes. Here's a better comparison than comparing Trey Lance to a guy who has already won MVP, been at the top of the league, and has a Super Bowl, and has made it to back-to-back Super Bowls. How about Justin Fields? Who's the better rookie, and who will have a better rookie year? Type F for Fields, type L for Lance. I think Trey Lance could have a better rookie year because the team around him is a little bit better. What do you think, though? Let me know. Luke Liniger, do you think the Niners will be able to trade for a defensive back corner, perhaps Gilmore? If so, what will it cost? The price for Gilmore, the price for Xavien Howard will be pretty steep. It kind of comes down to leverage. Who will have leverage when negotiations come full circle and the pressure is on for these organizations? So I think in order to bring in a guy like Gilmore or Xavien Howard, you might have to part with a first-round pick, maybe a second-round pick, and a player, another draft asset gets it done. I would put the likelihood at this pretty low. Harold, thanks for this question. Is Mosley back from COVID protocol yet? Yeah, I believe he is. That's obviously such a fluid situation because negative and positive tests change all the time. We're recording this during our live show on Thursday. The Niners have off of training camp on Thursday, today, as we record this. They're back at it on Friday. So obviously this changes by the time this comes out, which is, I think, on Sunday. That could change a little bit.